Okay everyone, I'm going to try to do a quick video here on how to self-diagnose your AC system. If the house is getting hot inside but you have your vents running inside. So right now I have a normally functioning AC system here. This is the outside compressor, and what these things do is they just compress Freon and they push it through your inside air handler. Now if this thing isn't turning but you have airflow coming out of your vents and you're noticing that it's getting hotter in the house, it's because there's no Freon actually getting compressed and allowing it to cool and forcing itself inside. So basically all you really have is a glorified fan. So first thing you want to do, if this isn't running, you want to go over here and check to see if there's any condensation coming out of your drain pipe. Now most houses will have a drain pipe similar to this that's connected to the inside unit. Some houses will have two of these. They'll have an outside drain pipe, which you have to have because as anything freezes and melts, the water's gonna have to go somewhere. So you're gonna look for an outside drain pipe, and then some houses will also have a inside drain pipe that's maybe in the garage or somewhere else that's kind of sticking through the ceiling. That's basically your emergency drain if your pan gets full of water. So check to see if this is flowing. If that thing's not dripping any water, most likely you're probably froze up. So the next thing you want to do is come in here, and luckily I have an air handler in the garage, but you see that copper tube right there, and then there's an insulated line to the left of it. What you want to do is go up in your attic or go up in your garage, and that insulated line, you want to try to get your fingers behind that insulation and check to see if it's frozen. More than likely, if your outside unit isn't blowing any air, if your outside unit isn't running, then that line right there is probably froze up, and you'll actually feel ice. It'll be really hard to touch because it's super cold. So what you'll want to do is go inside and turn your thermostat from auto, turn it off of auto, and turn it on fan only, and just let this unit, your handler, run, and just let it blow air across the coils, because what you're essentially doing is inside of this big box is something called an evaporator, and that's where all the Freon flows through. It flows through those copper lines. So what you're doing essentially is your system has a fail-safe in it to shut the compressor off, which is that outside unit, if there's not enough airflow or if the Freon inside this handler is frozen up. So what you're doing is you're basically melting off that Freon in the system and allowing it to get clear again. So what you want to do is flick your fan from auto to on, just on only, and let that run for about 45 minutes. And you're going to come back outside, and as that's running for about 10 minutes to 15 minutes, you'll notice you'll have a lot of water that'll start to pour out of here. And that's because everything's melting off. So once you notice that you'll notice that there's a heavy flow of water, and then it'll just kind of slow down. Once it slows down to just like a trickle, go ahead and flick it back on to auto, and you'll probably have your system start back up again like normal. So that's just kind of a quick tip. Obviously, it's just one diagnosis of many that could be wrong with an air conditioning system, but try that method first. And if that happened in the first place, you definitely want to check your air filters inside your house, because usually the reason why a system will freeze up is because the air filters are restricting the airflow, and if there's not enough air passing through this system, so say it's restricted and there's not enough air, and you still have the same amount of compressing happening with the Freon, it's going to cause that to freeze up because there's not enough warmer air blowing through it in the circulation of the system. So that's usually why you'll freeze up. The other reason you'll freeze up is because you're low on Freon or you have a Freon leak. So the Freon will actually be weeping out of the system over said month of time, a couple months of time, and there's not enough Freon compressing, and it'll actually cause it to get wonky in there chemically, and it'll cause the system to freeze up. So either way, you definitely want to get a tech out there, but it might be a quick way to help you kind of get yourself up and running again. So I hope this video helps anybody out there that's suffering from hot house, and if you have any questions or comments, type them below. Later.